Xin chào. So in this video I'm gonna compare the city of Danang to the coastal city of Nha Trang, or Nha Trang as the local people call it, so you wanna make sure you stick around. Hey, what's up guys? Hope you're doing well. So today I will compare Danang to Nha Trang here in Vietnam. I was requested to do this by some of my viewers. They are interested and want to know, hey, what's the difference between these two cities? Are they the same? You know, both cities have beautiful beaches. What's the difference? What's the living cost? Which city do I prefer, or which city should I move to? So to start with, I have stayed actually only a couple of days in Danang a few weeks ago, so I cannot really share some, let's say, deep information about this place. I'm more an expert of Nha Trang here, or Nha Trang, yeah. But I've seen Danang and I can tell you it is a beautiful city. It is, of course, bigger than Nha Trang. Nha Trang has about 500,000 inhabitants and Danang has about 1.3 million people who are living there. I jokingly say that Nha Trang is like the little sister of Danang, because both cities, yeah, there are coastal cities and they have beautiful beaches, but Danang is just really bigger. It's a much bigger city than Nha Trang, and the beaches are also way bigger. Yeah, the famous beach in Danang is called My, right? My Beach, and it stretches about like 50 kilometers or 32 miles. This is massive. This is a huge beach. Beaches in Nha Trang, here in Nha Trang, they are way smaller, but the geography is kind of the same. You know, you have obviously the East Sea, and I was tempted to say the South China Sea, and one of my viewers reminded me, hey, Marcel, please be careful. Don't say South China Sea, especially in Vietnam or in the Philippines, because Vietnamese people, I was told, are referring to the South China Sea, actually only to the East Sea. And the Philippines, they refer to the South China Sea as to the West Philippine Sea. And I understand why, you know, you guys don't like China too much. It's okay. So you have the East Sea there. And you have a beautiful panorama, and it's basically coast, beach, and then the city with also mountains. And Danang also has mountains. And this is, so the cities are very, very similar. Yeah. In terms of food, it's probably the same. Danang is considered to be in central Vietnam, and Nha Trang is considered already being a part of southern Vietnam, very close to Ho Chi Minh City or Saigon. The weather is very similar as what I have experienced. It's just very hot. I assume also the seasons are the same. Basically, you have a dry season, which is from January to September. And then starting September, so now until this December, that's what they say, it's the rainy season, it's the monsoon season, and even typhoons can hit the coastline, but I think this is very seldom. So in terms of weather, there are not many differences, and you have to see both cities just are apart. They are 500 kilometers apart, so this is a 1 hour and 20-minute flight or something like that. Yeah. In terms of accommodation, I've checked it out. Very similar prices. Danang is a little bit more on the more expensive side, but when I say expensive, I mean it's not much more expensive. It's just like, for example, in Nha Trang, you pay for a decent apartment, 1 bedroom for a month. You would pay, let's say, between $200 US and 350 US dollar. Of course, you can get much more expensive apartments here in Nha Trang, but this is a normal range where you can really find a decent place. 200 bucks upwards, that's a great deal. And you know from my previous videos, you know where I'm living currently, what I pay, you know, I made a video about this. Danang is a little bit more expensive, I would say. Decent apartments start at 250 or even 300 US dollars, and it goes up until $450. So the range between 350 and 300 and $450 is a decent range where you can get a decent apartment with decent cost. Of course, there are much more expensive apartments available in Danang, and you can even pay $500, $600, $700, or even $800. Yeah. Food-wise, it's the same. For me at least, I'm not an expert in Vietnamese food. I know Vietnamese food a little bit, but I'm not so familiar with the different regions. So I cannot really tell you what is the difference between Nha Trang cuisine and Danang cuisine. I assume it's very similar. But if you have objections, then please let me know in the comment section so I can learn something. So Nha Trang is, and I just checked it out before I started this video, it is one of the most important tourism hubs in Vietnam. I didn't know that. I knew that Nha Trang is a very famous tourist place, but I didn't know that it contributes so much revenue also to the entire Vietnamese budget. I have not found any information regarding Danang. Danang is, I think, more in an industrial city, or is also an industrial city. There's a lot of industry there, and Nha Trang don't has that. Yeah, Nha Trang only has tourism and some fishing and lobster farming and stuff like that. But in terms of sightseeing and nature, besides of the usual stuff like restaurants and beaches and night markets, you know, all that stuff you can find in any Vietnamese city besides of the beaches, but night markets is very common. You have actually a lot of things to do here in Nha Trang. In Nha Trang, you can travel to Dalat, which is actually a 4-hour ride. But the city is lying in the mountains, and I hear it is the most famous tourism destination in Vietnam. You can do island hopping here, which is very famous, and there are also mountains in the area. And I traveled with my friend the other day to some lake. Yeah, they have lakes here. It's amazing, and it looks like in Europe. Yeah, you have these mountains and then the lake, and you can do some boat riding there. You can rent a boat and stuff. That's a lot of fun. And there's an amusement park here. It's called, I think, the Wind Pearl Resort, with a lot of stuff and attractions. I haven't been there yet. Yeah. So that's a good thing. You can explore a lot of things here in Nha Trang. Yeah. So if you not just want to hang out at the beach, you can climb the hills. I've been up to the hills a few years ago, so you can do some hiking also. Yeah. And I assume it is similar in Danang. In Danang, I have visited the Lady Buddha, which is said to be the largest Lady Buddha really in the world. Yeah. It's an amazing site. The site itself is very interesting. There's a big temple there, but the view from that place overlooking the city and the ocean, the East Sea, it's amazing. It's so gorgeous. And Danang also has mountains in the backside. I don't know whether you can climb them or not, no idea. But you can travel to Hoi An. Hoi An, you know, the famous tourist destination, very famous with foreign tourists. Yeah, it's about 45 minutes away from Danang, and I've made the trip to Hoi An. Of course, I visited the city. I spent the night over there, and had a very good time. So what else is to say about these two cities in terms of nightlife? Guys, I'm not really a nightlife guy anymore. I left that behind a long time ago. I know about a couple of clubs here in Nha Trang, some nightclubs. Apparently there are some decent ones. where you can hang out with your friends and buddies, and they play music and stuff. And I think in Da Nang there is even more nightlife. So if you're a nightlife guy, if you need nightlife for your, let's say, survival, then I suggest to go to Da Nang. But again, if you guys have more information about the nightlife in Da Nang, then please share it in the comment section for the other viewers. It really depends on your preferences, you know. Again, so both cities are very similar. They are beach cities. If you like warm weather, if you like a beach, beautiful ocean, yeah, then you can check out both places. But I would say that Da Nang has, in terms of beaches, more privacy, and I think the beaches are more beautiful in Da Nang. This was my impression at the time when I was there. Yeah, Nha Trang also has nice beaches, but I find the beaches in Da Nang much better. And there's nothing more to say. The other thing I want to mention is that Da Nang, of course, is a more popular hub in terms of traveling. Many more airlines actually flying to Da Nang than to Nha Trang. I just checked out Vietjet Air, the local budget carrier here in Vietnam, and they are flying to like 18 different international destinations. Among them is Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Macau, India, and some other places. And Vietjet Air, compared to Da Nang, is flying from Nha Trang only to 4 different destinations. Yeah, so Korea and some other place I forgot. I think it's India and Almaty in Kazakhstan. I just saw that they opened up a route to Kazakhstan, and I wanted to check some dates and prices, but the route is not open yet, so I don't know why they put it in there. So long story short, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Probably when I come back from my visa run, then I will move to Da Nang for a month and to really make a deep dive and to explore the city and anything else. Yeah, that's all I have to say at the moment. I'm looking down at my cheat sheet here. I think I covered everything. If you have questions, then let me know. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for subscribing, of course. Thanks for all your comments. And I'm gonna see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.